Hey, this is Drake here, back with another Remnant 2 build video. And honestly, it's not a lot different than the previous build video I put out, but I've made a few tweaks to the build that really makes it a lot more comfortable. And as you can see from the sword, I did manage to solo Apocalypse with this build, and I've made it better since then with only died a couple times, and that was to the cube boss, and that's just because I kind of suck at cube boss. Anyway, the main thing we've changed up is we're now running Prismatic Driver. Now, I love this mod. I never thought that my favorite gun in the game would actually be a mod, not a gun. But yeah, I mean, it does really good damage. The only problem is it's kind of bad for you and multiplayer. You have to be really careful because it will blow you up. And without some damage reduction from a friendly fire, it will one-shot you. But we're running Prismatic Driver with Harmonizer just to get 20% more mod damage and 25% more mod regen while it's stowed. Now, melee weapon, really don't use it. I just got Tainted Blade on here in case I want to apply Corroded to something, but really I never use it. And we're running Astral Burst on this one with Spirit Healer. What Spirit Healer is, I figured out, extremely OP in this build because of how much healing it really gives you. Now, there is a couple options. Like when I did my Apocalypse run, I was actually using Bullet Weaver for the 20% fire rate and 15% mod generation, but you don't really need the mod generation. You still have a perfect loop, and the 20% fire rate does up the DPS just a little bit, but I found it kind of messes with Prismatic Driver because when you pop this, the 20% doesn't go off when you swap weapons, and fire rate boost on Prismatic Driver seems to make it not pop on its explosions like it should. So all in all, this was just a far better option that I found, but you can run the other one. Now, the other one you could run would be Spellweaver if you wanted to like run Chaos Form, and every time you pop it, you get a 1% cooldown for every 100 mod power spent, which means you get a 4.5% cooldown every time you pop your mod. So cuts like best cooldown probably in the game, just throw on there. So that's different ways. And I mean, you can run on this one, you can run Astral Burst, and Skewer works really well. I just kind of prefer Astral Burst because it's got 3 charges, which works better with the healing. But only drawback to like Astral Burst is if you're that far, if it's a distant target. As you can see, they scatter and they miss, whereas Skewer, they don't. Prismatic Driver has ridiculous range, like nearly no drop off at all. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's the main changes to the build. It's just running Prismatic Driver because honestly, the way I had it before, you kind of struggle with level clear because you didn't really have a good, I mean, you had a gun, but we have no range damage buffs. Now we're getting our range damage buffs basically from our mod, which we're using as a ranged weapon, so all of our mod buffs are actually kind of weapon buffs. And then I did change this around. Of course, we're going to run Reaction Chain because you just really can't mod spam without that 50% mod regen. And we still got the mod damage. But one thing I swapped up is now we're running Braided Thorns for more crit chance and Probability Cord for more crit damage, and we're only running the 1 survivability ring. And this one functions really well with Prismatic Driver for some reason. It's using a mod, generates 20% of max health over 10 seconds, can stack up to 30 seconds. For some reason, Prismatic Driver, see, it's up to 30. It instantly keeps it full, and as you're using it, you also keep your Archon buffs constantly, which is a lot more mod regen, so it really stacks well with it. And that's about it. Of course, we're still using Tranquil Heart just for, this is kind of, I would say, like super passive health regen, because the health regen we get is absolutely ludicrous. So as fragments, I did go out and make what I would call a perfect prism for me for my mod build. I got mod crit chance, mod damage, mod power generation, and this is what allows me to not run anything other than the amulet for mod power generation and still have a perfect cycle. And I got health regen, skill cooldown, damage reduction, armor bonus, weak spot and crit damage, and I rolled steel plating, which increases armor by 150. I found that this is almost exactly the same as the one that reduces your incoming damage by 30%. I mean, within like a 1% of exactly the same. So if you roll either one of them for survivability, that is fine. As you can see right now, we're sitting at 73.9% DR. I'm still running the same armor just because I don't want to, like if you wanted to throw on some Letos, you would definitely hit the 80% max. And then you might just swap out one of these rings for the one that drops you one weight level, so you still be in green. But yeah, as far as that, I mean, we just got the standard. Now that gets our mod critical chance and critical chance. We're setting at 40% critical chance right now. So we do get a fair amount of critical hits, and we got 80% crit damage, so they hit pretty hard when they do hit. And that's basically it. As far as traits, they're just still the same. Fortify, and just basically survivability, strong back. We've got kinship. I really need to put more in this, because even at 48%, you can still one-shot yourself if you get into the gauntlet and get like 50% more mod power. Yeah, with 50% more mod power, even with this, it will still one-shot you if you blow yourself up. And I mean, that's basically it. Same thing as I usually always run. We don't need any chakra for mod duration, because really we're just spamming mods, so we just need generation. We got siphoner and bark skin for max survivability. I love 7 in evade, or in fitness for evade distance. It just feels so comfortable. And that's basically it. If I was going to change anything, I might drop some and endurance possibly and put it at max kinship, because I'll show you right here, like it will blow you up very, very quickly. But the basic loop, and I'll show the health regen. This health regen is crazy, because this stacks. It's 2% of health over 10 seconds for every 50 mod power spent. All right, we're fishing a pop 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're getting 2.7 healing per second over 10 seconds with 3 stacks. That's 27 per stack. Yeah, that is 81 health in 10 seconds that we're getting back just from this mod. I've only got 150 health. That's over 50% health we get every 10 seconds from popping this mod. And to boot, any allies that are within 15 meters get 50% of that. So they get 25% of their health every 10 seconds that they're close to you. But what's neat about it, and not that you can really do this in boss fights too much, is it's a perfect loop on mod plus healing. So you do 3 of these, and then you do your prismatic driver. And as you can see the countdown, when the prismatic driver goes off, it's exactly 10 seconds. So you get your full healing the full time that you're attacking. And you can see we get full 30 stacks of prismatic driver back. It's kind of crazy. Now, as far as the friendly fire goes, yeah, it can be pretty bad. Like, there's 2 different areas of friendly fire with prismatic. As you can see, like with pop, see that one did 47, this one did 23. That's the area. If you're close but not too close, you'll take between 50 and 25% health depending on if it crits. But if you're point blank and something blows up in your face, you're getting about 75% health. But you can see my health regen like that. You see how long it takes. Now, watch this. Now we'll blow ourselves up. Oh, we got one-shotted. Like I said, it can one-shot you if you're not careful. All right, let's try that again. And like I said, multiplayer, people will hate you if you don't play smart with it. Especially if you get in with someone who's wanting to play melee and be up close and personal. Yeah, they will not like you at all. But yeah, do that again. Yeah. Well, that one-shotted me again. Huh. They usually don't one-shot like that. Alright, this is going to be a scrub video, I guess. Anyway. try that again. We won't stand quite so close. Yeah, but the health regen is, as you can see, it's like before you even get up off of the ground, your health is already fully restored with that active. Even with 2 stacks, it's still crazy amount of health regen. I don't know why all of a sudden that thing has never one-shotted me off of that, but that's basically it. Well, I got a 3 Apocalypse boss rush in here, and we will run it right quick and see what we get, and hopefully we won't accidentally blow ourselves up like we just did. What I like to, and I found on boss rush, I was doing it all wrong. Like if you want to do the 19 Apocalypse boss rush, which I did solo the other day with this build, not without the healing, but with this exact build, just with the 1 mutator changed over. Like it's doable, but I found that running Mudtooth Tonic for 20 health and then prioritize health on your buffs to get 200 health makes it so much better. I mean, you can do like damage reduction, but honestly you could only get about 7% more damage reduction. But if you get 70 more life than you have before, you're like 60% more durable than you were before. You can take your 60% more to not getting one-shotted by the harder hits, because once you get past like phase 10 and the 19 Apocalypse Gauntlet, they get to hitting really, really hard. Everything hits really hard. Kill some of these guys, but most of the time they just blow up in my face and almost get me killed. And I'm not even going to worry about any buffs. We're just going to play it like it is. As you can see, we use our, and I didn't mention it before, like this was like, you don't ever have to worry about ammo. You're never out of ammo. You constantly regen ammo. As you can see, like we're passively regenning ammo all the time. Like unlimited ammo, really great damage, super survivability. I mean, this build is just basically got everything. The only problem that you got is your friendly fire. That's one thing that you really want to watch out for. You can usually like two pops on most aberrations is all that they'll stand. And we'll go on and see what the first boss we got is. I really like, I love this build, but like I said, I mean, the friendly fire can be a bit of an issue when you got those bosses that like Sunken Witch that want to stay right up in your face the whole time. I forgot to show, maybe I'll get a chance to show this skill. And there's that one. Oh crap, we didn't even take a hit. I didn't get to show.
How's that?
But yeah, as far as buffs go, really not all these suck. When I was on the 19 gauntlet, like it's really important, like skip buffs if you don't get the ones you want. You want health. And for this build, if you want like max damage, you want mod damage and critical hit damage. And then from there, I would do damage reduction. And then the 5th is kind of maker's choice. If you're wanting speed run, I would go with movement speed. If you're not worried about speed run, if you just want survivability, go with healing effectiveness, because we are a healing health regen build, a heavy health regen build. So more healing effectiveness is just going to make you that much more durable. But like in the 19 gauntlet, the health bonus is almost required, because like even at 200 health with 80% damage reduction, the One True King's floor lasers still one-shot me. Like, you do not want to get caught by those. Oh, and I'm not using the pole, so it's just gonna give them to me. Get out of here, dude. Alright, where'd the aberration go? Oh, I guess it's back here, huh? You say, I mean, really, really solid damage. And we're not even getting any of the buffs. We could have potentially, you know, if you get 50% more mod and 50% more critical hit, your critical hits will do 100% more damage than they are now. And we're critting 40% of the time. So, I mean, that's a massive damage increase. We'll just show the build out. Whoops. I'm getting my fingers to work right here. But yeah, the amount of health regen on this thing is crazy. I didn't think that mutator would stack like that, and I'm not sure that it's possibly intended to, but that's crazy that it will regen nearly 60% of your health every 10 seconds when you pop it. I mean, you think about it, if you're getting, like, if you get to 200 health, it's going to be regening over 9 health per second. I'll try this. You can do this, like this isn't going to work good, but if you've got a stationary enemy, that just regens 50 mod power per second and gives you another 25% damage reduction. So, you're super durable. And if you get something like the jar enemy, you can one phase him almost with it. Now there's our health regen, I guess. This guy's all over me. Now these guys you gotta be careful with, like, if you happen to be building up your prismatic driver about time that they jump toward you, you will blow yourself up pretty easily. There's that one. So we're just going to skip both. I don't remember if I skipped the buff. I guess I didn't skip the buff on the other one. Sorry, but it's just stamina, so it won't really affect the build at all. I'll go ahead and grab this. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to run the healing like the other build, you can swap it over for the skewer. But it's harder to get a perfect rotation without running a good bit of more mod regen than we have on this build. So I mean, it's doable. You'll just have a little more downtime, but you'll have a lot less friendly fire. If you don't directly shoot them with the skewer or the astral burst, they don't take friendly fire like they do from, and you don't. You personally have no worries about friendly fire running astral burst and skewer. But to me, I found that this is just a lot easier for a level clear, a lot easier all the way around. It seems to put out more damage than any other mod I've run, or about any other weapon. And I found that, like those bosses that you struggle with range damage on, because they just take reduced range damage, like mod doesn't have that problem. It will almost do the same amount of damage even if they're resistant. To it, like I forget, I'm terrible with names, but the plate dude, just the floating plate, yeah, like it will absolutely shred that guy, whereas a range build really struggles with that fight. There we go. Like I said, just super survivability. As long as you're shooting your mods. Oh, I didn't realize that was the last one. Sorry, I guess we didn't get a good. Like you say, we do about 500,000 damage in 10 minutes. And we do a lot of friendly fire, but highest single hits, 9K. But that's it. A few tweaks to the other build, make it more, I mean, I would say this is, I've been running a lot of multiplayer with it, and so far I've had pretty good luck, but you just have to be careful. Like, if you see someone close, try not to use prismatic driver. Like, an astral burst's pretty bad for friendly fire too. If they're directly in the way, this will one-shot. Even with 50% reduction friendly fire, this will one-shot most anybody in multiplayer. So, all in all, it's not very multiplayer friendly, but you can do it. You just have to kind of like slow down on your rotations, make sure it works. I was going to show this. There's two different options. Like, I quit running Havoc for them because the prismatic driver works so well for a weapon. You don't really struggle on level clear at all anymore. But I kind of like this reality rune. What it does is it just gives you 25% damage reduction, but it gives you 50% mod gen per second while it lasts. So it makes prismatic driver last like 25% longer before it goes out. But you can also use Chaos Gate, which you will gain like a 50% damage bonus, but be warned that you get like a 25% increased damage that you take too. So, you know, that's kind of a high risk, high reward thing. But we'll kind of showcase this. Like, normally the prismatic driver, it'll do somewhere between 45 and 50,000 usually, depending on how the crits roll. So we're at 46,000 there. But what this allows, pop this down, and it just regens your mod so much. And like I said, if you've got like a stationary enemy that doesn't move around a lot, you can increase your output up to 80,000 before that goes off, which to me, and it reduces projectile speed, and you get that extra defense bonus too. So you can just stand and put out some really good damage, and that lasts 15 seconds. I mean, we literally just put out 80,000 damage in 15 seconds. It's really respectable. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I don't think I forgot anything. Really solid build, like puts everything kind of on easy mode, and you do have some options. I mean, basically run any weapon you want, just in interchangeable mods. I mean, if you think you need a little more survivability, sorry, I can't speak, you could trade out probability cord for like crisis ring. So if you get down 25%, you get that 25% shield, and you know, you get so much passive health regen that this activates. Like, if your health ticks back up above 25%, even 1%, and then you get hit again, it reactivates. And this ring is really OP, honestly, because it will activate over and over and over again as long as you've got some health regen. So it just makes you super survivable. Now, I did remove, I forgot to mention it earlier, I removed this ring, the shield alternator, which we can throw it on, because for some reason it does not function with prismatic driver. As you can see, it doesn't activate. And the reason why is it's every time you cast a mod that costs 100 mod power or greater, it activates the shield. Well, prismatic driver technically on paper only costs 45 per activation, so it never activates it. So I mean, you could throw that on, and every time you use this one, you get that shield active, and it's going to be active all the time anyway, but you just lose a bit of damage because of, as you see, it lasts for 15 seconds. Our rotation is 10. So we've got full healing and full shield for the entire rotation. So you'd be even harder to kill. So I mean, there is options. And honestly, if you figure it, we got 40% crit chance and we're getting a 20% bonus, we're only getting like we're only dropping like 7 or 8% damage to swap that over. So I mean, basically, however you want to run it. You know what I mean? You could throw the ring on for haste, which I don't have it here because we've got constant health regen. So, I mean, we could get haste all the time, or, I mean, it's very flexible. But anyway, that's it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the sub button. And as always, thanks for watching.